Israel-Hamas conflict that's been ongoing now for almost 9 months, as we say, as we just head into June 2024. And it's an attack that was launched by the Hamas back in October 7th. And today we are at a juncture where countries which were initially in support of Israel, having come out and defended their nation, these are the same countries who are no longer extremely confident with regards to their support to Israel. And there are a few simple reasons because of that, especially now with the Rafah offensive operation having been launched. And to discuss this in further depths, we have with us Mr. Benny Benyamin. He has been a former Israeli officer himself. And well, Mr. Benyamin, without further delay, welcome to News9 Live. And well, as we discuss this entire conflict in depth currently, let's also take a look at it from the timeline perspective of it. I remember in an initial interview of yours, you had said that Israel will not forget and Hamas shall be removed from people's memories, especially after the attack on October 7th. Now, 9 months later, if we look at the civilian casualties in Gaza, it is indeed quite concerning. It's alarming. And with each passing day, it seems that what Netanyahu had initially said, that Gaza is to become a deserted land after the attack on October 7th, it seems to be coming out to be a reality now. And do you think at this point, with the number of civilian casualties that's come to the fore, even as a former soldier yourself of the Israeli Defense Forces, do you think at this point it is valid as collateral? Can we still continue to call it collateral with almost 35,000 people having died in the Gaza Strip?
It's really a sad to be in a war for 9 months, especially when somebody from your family is also in the army. My son is in the army for more than 9 months, and nobody wants war. That is definite. The war, we can't be small children like he started, I did. All this is all rubbish. But really, Hamas did attack us. We were not ready for the attack, because we really believed that if we are giving money, we are giving all the supplies, we are giving them electricity, we are giving them water, we are giving them work, that will bring a kind of, not peace with them, but at least a silent area with Israel and Hamas, with Israel and Gaza. Actually, I know that they were pumped. Hamas was pumped by money, and we were the country that we gave that money to them. They were pumped not only by Qatar, but they were pumped by Iranians. They were pumped by so many other countries, and the money was misused for the war and for the attack that they did. I understand that people say now there are 35,000 casualties and all that, but they count including the Hamas soldiers, including the Hamas terrorists, the people who are fighting against the IDF. I know the war is not good for anybody. War is injuries. War is loss of money. War is loss of life. Of course, we are losing the best of the best lives of ours, who are the soldiers. There are 18 years, 19 years, 20 years, families, people who are just married. I mean, it's very painful. We are the last country to want to have a war. The wars are going on more than 70 years, 75 years in Israel. The wars were against the armies. It's very easy to fight army. It's very easy to fight country because they have laws and regulations in the fight. Hamas is having no laws and no regulations in the fight, because they are actually putting the woman shells between us and between them. So, and first, second thing is they're in tunnels. They come out of the tunnels, they shoot and go. So it is really a very hard war for Israel too. We thought that we are very strong, and we are still strong, and we are not this. I know that the support is going from us, but if we want to make a peace in this area, we will not need people like Hamas in this area. And that is the fact.
Mr. Benjamin, we're talking about a peace in an area which seems to be just being ruined to rubble and razed to the ground at this point. I mean, at this rate, we might as well say that even as we speak of Hamas using women and children as shields, but there have been consistent attacks that's taken place on hospital grounds. In fact, very recently, even within the Rafah offensive operations that Israel has launched, we've seen Netanyahu himself, Prime Minister Netanyahu himself, coming in and saying that the fire that was started by the airstrike only on Sunday, that was a tragic mistake. So do you think at this point, there is some sort of a realization that's also coming from Israel's part with regards to this war that, it's gone on for too long. And there are too many civilians that have had to, bear the brunt of this particular war in the name of defense, for that matter. As the International Court of Justice just came up with their order as well. While South Africa wanted to call it genocide, it doesn't really fit into the definition of genocide, but it does come quite a little close to it because of the entire operation that's been, the Rafah operation that's now being launched. Don't you think that there will soon come a situation that there won't be any, there won't be two sides left for a peace deal? Because Palestine has already been razed to the ground, or rather, we're inching towards that, where Palestine is completely razed to the ground.
See, first of all, on Sunday's problem that we had is already solved, and it's not us. It's the Palestinians once again. They had some bombs over there, and the rockets that were shot to kill the two persons, that rocket was involved with their, and they did it on the civil side purposely. And it is, you can see on the paper, today's news that they already say that it is our problem, not Israeli, what has Israel done. The Palestinians are saying, not we are saying that. So, and Netanyahu did it very fast because he doesn't want it that already it is burned out, so it will not be burned more and more. So Netanyahu said, yes, we will check, but I think this is our mistake. That's what he said. Second thing is Hague. Even if you go to the court, you have two lawyers. One side, Israel, let us say, when you go to court as a civil court, okay, you have two lawyers. One lawyer is fighting for you, one lawyer is against you. And the judge, with evidence, only he calls A, B, C, D, whatever it is. Over here, the country is being, they're brought to the court with South Africa, because South Africa don't like us. So they already, they're trying to do this. And they brought us to court without evidence. No evidence is there. I mean, they are not come and did any inquiries what happened or what not happened, or where the public is there, or who is killed or who is not killed. I don't say that there are not injuries, the citizen injuries. I say there are citizen injuries. Also, we have citizen injuries, and not only on the 7th of October. No, also yesterday, day before yesterday, some children were killed in the south, some children were killed in the north. So I mean, but we have that how to say what do you call it? That prevents the bombs to come in. So we are lucky. But there are a lot of other things that we don't have control on it, and we are having war not only in south. We are having a war in the north. We are having a war in the east. Iraq is shooting on us. Yemen is shooting on us, and all the way we are in middle of the war. So I mean, I know that you see now. You heard the alarms.
Mm-hmm.
The alarms is from the south. I think it is not. I think it is not. 1 minute. It is in the north. So you can't. I know that I don't say that we want a war. We don't say that we want to fight. But you know what? As I don't know. I think also Netanyahu is not. With all my respect to my prime minister, there are a lot of things he's not doing us doing us good. I don't say that it is the best thing what he's doing.
Would you think that on that particular note, I would even like to ask you this: the fact that the ICJ came up with their order wherein they've asked Israel to halt the war on the Rafah front of the Gaza Strip. Do you think Netanyahu ignoring that particular order from the ICJ, and in fact even the US, Joe Biden had also held meetings with the Israeli Prime Minister, where the mediators, not just the US, but we've had Egypt, Qatar, they've all come in to say that the Rafah offensive was a tactical mistake. Do you think Netanyahu is at this point making a big mistake, continuing with the Rafah operations and not only ignoring one of the top court's orders, but also while it is binding, but it's not enforceable, that is something we are aware of. But by ignoring this order, Netanyahu is making a tactical mistake at this point. And moreover, they didn't even agree to sign the exchange deal, the 40-day ceasefire deal that the Hamas had finally accepted. But Israel, at the end moment, backed out of it, right? Calling the term soft.
No. Sorry. First of all, about the deal. They had not agreed to the deal. Egyptians had done something wrong with the deal, and that deal was failed. Nothing to do with Israel. I'll
But
tell you what.
Hamas had agreed to the deal, and Israel initially was ready to go forward, at least with the negotiations of how the terms can be, modified further.
There were some changes done without notice of America, Israel, and Qatar.
Okay.
By the Egyptians.
At this point,
and
if
that's why
there
the
is a
deal was
renewed
cancelled.
deal, do you think Israel will give in to it? Because from the looks of it, Netanyahu doesn't seem to be going on a back foot when it comes to the war, and he doesn't want to agree to a ceasefire deal.
No. See, I'll tell you what. Ceasefire, or as per my opinion also, if Hamas will not be there, the ceasefire will happen automatically. We don't want Hamas there. That's all. We don't want October 7 once again to happen. That's all. We don't want. We want to close the borders. You stay there, we'll stay. We left before 20 years, Gaza Strip, without any conditions. We pull out our people from there. One more shooting that is happening. I'm telling you, this was completely bordered. I mean, nothing we don't want from you all. We gave exchange working people to come to Israel. All this was happening. But the Hamas, what they did today, we don't want Hamas at all. I mean, Hack can ask anything they want. With all my respect to Hack, they are not how to say, they are not they are not equally judging both sides. They only one side, and the countries are looking at the people because they are pulling out so many false pictures of the children, so many false pictures of the dead people, that people are impressed. Okay, the Hamas is the Palestinians are dying and all that. I am completely with Palestinians, but I'm not with Hamas.
Right. And while I do understand that, while we also do speak about Palestine, I know that you are saying this as a part of having been part of the Israeli Defense Forces, as well as an Israeli citizen at this point. But more and more nations, Mr. Benjamin, are now coming forward to recognize Palestine. My question here remains the same, with which it remains on the same note that I began. At this point, the offensive operations continue to take place on an extent where Palestine may not even, the damage is such, the casualty is such that Palestine may not even remain to be taken over by Palestinians. That is the level of the casualties that's taking place there. There are humanitarian aids being blocked, and the situation there seems to be extremely grim. So now when a Spain or a France or a Germany comes out to actually say that yes, they do recognize Palestine as a country as well, how is Israel as geopolitically dealing with the situation now? Isn't a ceasefire
with all my respect to any other countries than us, I really I'm shocked by Spain that they went with the Palestinians and they want to recognize a country of Palestine. What they want to recognize? A terrorist country to happen next to Israel? That will not happen. If they want to have peace, they must start from the schools to teach the people to love each other. I mean, you can't give a gun in kindergarten to a child and he's shooting. I can show you so many pictures of like that. In my kindergarten, in my country, if you go to the kindergarten, they are never taught to hate anybody. In that country, yes. In that the Palestinian states, yes. I don't know what Spain is thinking. I don't know what Ireland is thinking. Ireland thinks that when they were fighting against UK or they were fighting against their independence, and they were fighting, that's something else. This is something else. They don't want us over here. You know what? You can ask each and every Palestinian. They will say, from the sea, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Where Israel is going to? I mean, if that was, you know what, if they are sitting with us, we had a peace talks. We brought Palestinians to Israel. Arafat came to Israel as a peace, but it never happened. This in continuously putting the children and hatred of the Jews. Hatred. You know, the hatred comes in the, see, the children who are before 20 years or 25 years in the kindergarten, today they are fighting against us because they have hatred. We have not killed any person or any citizen in Gaza Strip purposely. Never, ever happened to us in this. See, the Israel army is one of the best army because I was there in that army. I know what is that army. My son is still there in the army. We will not kill anybody unnecessarily. If somebody shoots us up, we'll shoot him back, of course. And I'm telling you,
Children coming in our
pain.
territory, indeed not. I mean, of course, it's collateral. It's being called collateral for sure in the war. But can it indeed not be stopped at this point? Can the war in so does that mean that the war just continues to wage on till each and every probably Palestinian is, just
No, first of all, we don't want to kill any Palestinians. See, 35,000 people from 2.4 million, and that 35,000, I think 25,000 at least 25,000, they are terrorists. And I'm telling you that 100%. That is my.
and that
I know that.
are you saying that includes the children as well? Because out of that number, 15,000 seem to be
See,
as children.
they have taken so many people as women shields, and the hospitals you talk about, nothing was us. They were there. They did the thing. We already proved that. We don't need to prove it again and again. The court in Hague, I don't think it is a fair court. If it is not fair court, then it before 75 years, Israel had agreed to have this court because we were suffering in Germany. So but now it is going against us. I mean, it is not fair. If it is fair, then do it, no problem. If it is not fair, then it is not fair. I don't say that we are the saints. We are not the saints. But if we are fighting, we are fighting. What to do? The fighting is not good. War is not good. No, not for them, not for us. And I'm telling you, I promise you one thing. If Hamas, okay, the organization, the terrorist organization, will come and say, okay, let us, without conditions, let us stop the war, take the hostages, and we will go out.
It's a take the hostages and give back our prisoners. That's the exchange deal for them as well.
Of course, the prisoners are very important. See, we gave them, we gave for one soldier before, I think 8 years, we gave for one soldier 1,200 terrorist people, including this Sinwar, who was inside involved. So, we don't care. We'll give all the prisoners that we have, but in exchange, we want our people back. And it is 125 people who are there still. Right. I think somewhere about 75 to 80 people alive. And that we want back, including the bodies. We don't keep any body over there. That is definite. See, I'll tell you what. Israel is in such a place where I don't want to involve India in this because I was a small child when I came. Small child. I'm not a small child. I was a young boy when I came to Israel when I was 13 years old. I'm telling you, I had a war in 1968. In Mumbai, I was, staying in Mumbai, and it was a blackout, and not to open the windows, and it was all covered by black sheets and all that. And it was for me really a big shock. When I came to Israel in 1970, 72, I went to army. 73, there was a war, and a Bombay guy who is never heard about a war, only in the pictures, Bollywood. Now he's in the war, and we fought against countries. We fought against 3 countries, and it was completely different than what to fight against the terrorism. Terrorism is the worst thing to fight. Also, India, today, they are fighting against terrorism. It's a worst scenario to fight. Soldier never wants to fight against terrorists. I'll tell you why. Because they are like mice. They go inside, they come out, they shoot, they once again go inside. It's very hard to fight them. And I'm sorry if we have killed unnecessarily people, but we are in a war. With all my, really, I'm sad to say that. Because see, I'm doing business. For more than 9 months, I'm sitting here, no business. I'm doing tourism. My business comes from India. I'm zero business.
Right, Mr.
And my
Benny.
son is in the army. So it's very hard to do it.
Absolutely.
But to survive a small country like us, it is only 40 kilometers, 600 kilometers long. We will survive. I'm telling you, if they will give us a hand, we will give them a whole body of us for the peace. I'm telling you, we want peace with them. But they don't have that. Every child, if you go, you must come here and see. You go to the Palestinian side and ask a small child what you think about, what you dream about, to throw the Jews to the sea. Where you come to our children and ask them, they will say,
Right.
not Palestine, the Arabs.
Hmm.
They are our friends. And we have Arabs. We have about 2 million Arabs in Israel. They are staying very happily. And you can see a lot of interviews of them that they are very happy here in Israel. And what is genocide? Genocide is all wrong. All wrong thoughts about this Hague.
Right.
I'm sorry to say.
Well, thank you so much for joining us in this.
It was my pleasure. It was surprised me, but it was my pleasure.
Thank you so much. And well, definitely, it is a conversation much needed at this particular juncture of war as we are in 9 months into it, which June 7th would mark 9 months into it. It need only time, I think, at this point to tell whether or not a ceasefire deal would indeed be possible between the Hamas and Israel.